So toxic positivity is the idea that, we can lift ourselves up. If we're in a negative space at the moment, that we can lift ourselves up just by having positive vibes or just by thinking about positivity. And I think this is an interesting discussion point, specifically because we're in this environment at the moment where everyone is a little bit negative, right? Or we can't help but be surrounded by a bit of negativity. And so I remember saying a few weeks back that I'm a big supporter of that idea of it is okay not to be okay. And so when we have that headspace, then to have a lot of other voices coming by saying, just believe in yourself or just be positive and all those types of things, there can sometimes be a jar, there can be a gap there. So my first question for you is, what do you think about this concept of toxic positivity?
I think it comes from so it's interesting you brought that up, because I hadn't heard the term toxic positivity, but when we had a chat about it, I realized it corresponded with something that have come to me recently, is that we've got two types of emotions, and there are some emotions that need to be dealt with, and some emotions that we just need to have a better way of thinking to get rid of them. And the art is first to label our emotions correctly, and then to decide in which basket those emotions are going to be. So, you have emotions like grief or sadness. And from my experience, these are emotions that we try to sweep under the carpet, but actually need to be faced, and we need to go there. We need to, really have almost a conversation with ourselves. Now, there are ways to do that that are also going to protect yourself, because it can be, a downward spiral if you don't do it with the proper help around it. For my part, these were emotions that I never allowed myself to go there, because I was scared that I would never come back. These were emotions that really scared me. And I also felt a bit of a coach and happy. And well, if I let myself feel this, then I'm failing. I'm not being a good role model. And I was lucky to.
Sorry to interrupt there, because I thought what you just pointed out was just such an interesting point, that you are a well-being coach, you're a mindfulness coach, and you teach this type of stuff. And your opening message was about positivity, but as you said, there was almost within yourself, there was an element of potentially of this toxic positivity. You weren't letting yourself feel negative because you didn't feel like you were allowed to, because you wanted to be a role model. I think that's such a fascinating dichotomy there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also really part of my growth as a coach, because what happened is that I went there, about a few months ago. I went there. Now, the way I did it is it's not too sort of complicated, but I observed myself feeling the feelings. So we call that a disassociation, which means that I wasn't in the feeling with that risk of sort of never coming back and really feeling, hey Diana, great to have you on the call. With this feeling of oh my God, how am I going to get out? So I observed myself feeling the feelings, and that allowed me to go really deep in there. And by doing that, two things happened that were quite amazing, actually. First is by going so deep in, I managed then to also have higher emotions, right? So you can't have one without the other. By allowing myself to feel really down and really go there without any fear, a few weeks later, I realized that I was able to achieve some really high happiness emotion that I had maybe not reached before. So that was really, really important to me. The other thing that was important is that it's given me a greater understanding of other people feeling those feelings, because I had a bit of a disconnect of, I don't understand what it feels like to feel that. I don't understand what it feels like to be in that space. And I think that's where also the toxic positivity comes from. And I think it's more coming from we want to be good and we want to be helpful, but sometimes we stumble a little bit. And when we say to people, come on, see the good things and find the gold and find the gift in what's happening there, we're just skipping ahead. It actually reminds me of an experience I had in hospital, where they were after a surgery, they were removing something and it was really hurting me. And I said, I hope this will be over fast. In my head, I meant go slow, but I can't wait for this to be over. And she just ripped the Band-Aid basically. And I went, wow. And I think that's what we do. We already think about just go better, but we forget to tell to people, but you have a journey to go to get there. We're not, so people are like, oh, I need to feel better. I need to snap out of my sadness or my grief or whatever it is. And the other thing is that there are some emotions where you can do that. And it's about, noticing. If you're going to overwhelm or if you're going into disappointment, these aren't things you need to dwell on and face. It's your thinking that's bringing that. You just need to change the way you think. So when somebody is depressed or grieving and you tell them just change the way you think, you're not helping at all.